on Bismarckian diplomacy from professors who spent their whole life studying it, and they don't know why he did some of the things he did. While he was running it, it was fantastic. By the time 1914 rolls around, he hasn't been running it for some time. He'd been fired by the leader of Germany, and now this complex machine that the genius of Bismarck had created and run was being run by people who couldn't, carry his jockstrap, is what we used to say. It was inevitable that something like that would break down. The reason that the Austro-Hungarians didn't just march into Serbia, the minute they found out that the Serbs were responsible for killing their heir to the throne, is that they knew that would mean war with Russia. And that is something that the Austro-Hungarians were not prepared for. At least not without checking with their main friend on the world stage and finding out, what they would do in that situation. Their main friend on the world stage was the German Empire. Now, the German Empire's attitude is very interesting. The first thing I have to keep reminding myself about the German Empire during this era is that it's relatively young. It's a new country almost. It was only founded in 1871. That's like 40 years before this era. And it wasn't just a new country. The minute it was proclaimed, and that's how it happened. You didn't proclaim England. You didn't proclaim France. But Germany, as a modern nation, there was like a day where people signed papers, and the next day, as of tomorrow, Germany exists. And the minute it existed, it was the most powerful land power in Europe. With a larger population than France, traditionally the greatest land power in Europe up till this time period, and a faster birth rate, and more industry. And how destabilizing would it be in our world today if a couple of different nations of moderate power signed a piece of paper tomorrow that united them into one country, and that one now combined country was the most powerful country in the world? Even if it was just the most powerful land power or the most powerful sea power. You can see how a bunch of nations that really didn't deserve a lot of the perks that the super great nations claim for themselves might all of a sudden do that once they turn themselves into a super nation. In 1871, with the creation of Germany, the Kaiserreich, you have an instant great power on the world stage. It was Prussia on steroids with a population like 8 times as much, and the rest of Germany with them, militarized on the Prussian model with the Prussian king.
992.
That's a very destabilizing thing. And when that country begins to demand some of the perks that the other great powers have, of their own, France, Great Britain, they've got all these colonies, all these other things. Little Holland to them looks like they've got places all over the world. What's going on? Sort of a factor of just having been there for a while. You were around during the age of exploration, and you had a bunch of